While 99% of people are collecting business cards, forcing small talk, and pretending to care about someone's startup idea, there's a specific group of people who would rather be literally anywhere else. And here's what nobody tells you. It's not social anxiety. It's not introversion. And it definitely doesn't mean you're bad at relationships. According to neuroscience, your brain might be wired for something completely different. Something that makes you fundamentally incompatible with the game everyone else is playing. Stay with me, because what I'm about to explain will change how you see every awkward networking event you've ever forced yourself to attend. Here's the thing nobody talks about. Some people are born with what psychologists call constitutional emotional independence. Not independence you developed through therapy, not something you learned from self-help books. A pre-existing neurological orientation that you came into this world with. Let me explain what's happening in your brain. When most people network, when they shake hands and exchange LinkedIn profiles, their brain releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone, the same chemical that makes you feel connected to family. Their social reward centers light up. The nucleus accumbens starts firing. Dopamine floods their system. They feel good. They feel motivated. They want more. Your brain? Completely different activation pattern. Brain imaging studies show something fascinating. People with constitutional emotional independence show minimal activation in social reward centers when engaging in group-building behaviors. Your reward system is oriented toward different triggers, not group acceptance, not social status, not belonging, authentic expression, intellectual discovery, truth. Think about that for a second. While everyone else's brain is rewarding them for performing connection, your brain is sitting there like, this doesn't compute. It's not that you can't network. You probably can. You're probably charismatic. You can read social cues. You know what to say. But here's the problem. Every single interaction that requires you to adjust your authentic self to fit social expectations triggers what researchers call a somatic revolt. Your body recognizes pretense as a form of self-betrayal it cannot tolerate. This is where it gets really interesting, because this isn't about skill. It's about integrity that's non-negotiable. Let me break down what's actually happening. When you walk into a networking event, your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for executive function, it's working overtime. It's monitoring every word, every gesture, every micro-expression, trying to perform the dance everyone else seems to know instinctively. But your limbic system, the emotional core of your brain, it's sending distress signals, cortisol levels rising, heart rate increasing, not because you're afraid of people, because your nervous system is detecting inauthenticity. And it's treating that inauthenticity as a threat. Dr. Ramy Kaminsky's research identifies this as otroversion, not introversion, not extroversion, something completely different. Otroverts can engage socially. They can be warm, present, genuinely interested, but they remain psychologically untethered. They experience zero psychological pull toward group belonging. Here's the critical distinction. Introverts withdraw because social contact depletes them. You can navigate social environments with complete ease, but you feel no need for tribal membership. Your identity isn't anchored in collective affiliation. And this creates a fascinating paradox. The charismatic individual who can't network, the brilliant professional who can't play office politics, the socially capable person who would rather be alone than perform connection. Here's what corporate psychology is now calling authenticity fatigue. People can no longer sustain the gap between who they are and who they perform in professional spaces. You're not exhausted from networking, you're exhausted from the pretense networking requires. Studies show this is accelerating. Declining rates of traditional social club membership, religious affiliation dropping among younger generations, party loyalty in politics collapsing, brand loyalty disappearing. The mechanisms that once made tribal identity rewarding are breaking down. And people like you are discovering something radical. You don't need memberships that don't nourish you. Now here's where everything flips, because what you've been told is a weakness might actually be the most honest relationship you have with reality. Think about what networking actually is. It's transactional connection. It's strategic relationship building. It's collecting people like assets. And your brain is rejecting that premise entirely. Not because you're broken, but because you're operating from what researchers call ontological self-sufficiency, a sense of worth that exists prior to and independent of external validation. Let that sink in. While everyone else is building identity through group affiliation, through networks, through being known, you already have something they're searching for. A self-concept that doesn't require constant social reinforcement. Here's what the research shows. People with low tribal instincts, people like you, they have more stable self-esteem, less dependent on things completely outside their control. They don't experience the pronoun switch sports fans do. We won versus they lost. Your identity remains consistent. And there's something quietly powerful about that. Because while everyone else is performing for approval, you're free to be selectively authentic. You're not networking with everyone. You're connecting with the few people who matter. Real reciprocity, not parasocial performance. Here's the part nobody mentions. In a world that has always assumed social need is universal, your indifference to mass connection is actually rare. Recent data shows that people with constitutional emotional independence score way higher in openness to experience, higher in love of art and beauty, higher in intellectual curiosity. You're not missing the networking gene. You're allocating your limited capacity for caring toward different places. Social causes, creative projects, intellectual challenges, ideas that actually move you. Your brain is seeking the same reward everyone else wants: meaning, connection, transcendence. You're just refusing to find it in shallow professional exchanges. So what do you actually do with this information? Because you still live in a world that values networking, that rewards visible connection, that promotes people who play the game. First, stop trying to fix yourself. You're not defective. You have a different neurological orientation. Trying to force tribal behavior when your brain isn't wired for it will only create more authenticity fatigue. Second, recognize your advantage. While everyone else is building wide networks, you can build deep ones. Quality over quantity isn't just a nice phrase for you. It's how your reward system actually works. Focus on parasocial investment versus direct engagement. You prefer investing emotional energy where there's actual reciprocity, where your care matters to the outcome, where you're a participant, not a performer. That means being ruthlessly selective. One meaningful collaboration is worth more to your brain than 50 LinkedIn connections. Third, reframe networking entirely. You're not building a network. You're curating a small circle of people who value the same things you do. Authenticity, substance, intellectual honesty. When you meet someone at a professional event, you're not performing connection. You're testing for resonance. Does this person appreciate directness? Can they handle real conversation? Or are they playing the game? Your ability to detect pretense, the same mechanism that makes traditional networking torture, that's your filter. Use it. Fourth, build systems that don't require performance. Online presence that reflects your actual interests. Work that speaks for itself. Reputation based on output, not visibility. You're never going to win the charisma contest, but you can absolutely win the credibility game. Fifth, understand this is genetic. Research from the University of Chicago suggests variations in dopamine receptor genes predict how much someone cares about competitive spectator activities. The same principle applies to social competition. Your complete indifference to collecting contacts might literally be in your DNA. That means stop comparing yourself to people who thrive on networking. They're playing a different game with different neurological equipment. Finally, recognize the long-term advantage. Authenticity fatigue is hitting epidemic levels. People are choosing authenticity over advancement, turning down promotions that require more performance, leaving jobs that demand code switching. You've been living this way already. While everyone else is burning out from pretense, you've already built a life that doesn't require it. So the next time someone tells you to put yourself out there, to build your network, to make connections, remember this: you're not antisocial. You're not missing out. You're not failing at some fundamental human skill. You're constitutionally different. Your brain's reward system, your tribal instincts, your capacity for authenticity, they're all calibrated for something deeper than transactional connection. And in a world drowning in performed relationships and strategic friendships, that might be the rarest thing of all. Your discomfort at networking events isn't weakness. It's your integrity refusing to negotiate. If this resonated, you'll want to understand why you can't small talk, and why that's actually a sign of high-level processing. The link is in the description.